This episode of the MOC Squad was filmed in front of a live, members-only audience. Greetings, Rob, and greetings, imagination connoisseurs.
I had no idea the show was so well produced. Look at these graphics, Roberto.
You never get to see that part usually. So no. I have you looking at those this time around. So yeah, it's it's all part of the illusion of all it takes is a few little tweaks to make it look a lot more professional, right? So
by the way, I have an announcement for all members. This could be my very last members chat because literally, as I was telling you, miles away.
Oh geez.
There's it's 115 degrees out there. There's a monster brush fire that overnight exploded to like 2,000 acres. And I heard, and I took a picture and put it on Instagram yesterday. I thought it was just smoke. I thought it was just smoke. I didn't realize it was an illusion. It was further away than I thought. I go to the grocery store last night to get dog food. And, I pull into the grocery store and I go in, I've done it 1,000 times, and I don't look behind me until you're coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was coming out of the grocery store and the whole hill was burning. The whole hill was on fire. And it looked close to houses and stuff. And, I talked about how summer always feels very apocalyptic in LA.
Yeah.
And especially normally September is always really hot. It's always been really hot. But this summer, they say it's the hottest summer ever in California since recorded history or whatever.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Wow.
I totally believe it. But, there's no climate change.
No. I mean, we've been experiencing it in Portland here, too. I mean, we've had a week of close to and over 100-degree weather here in the Northwest as well, which for September is bizarre. So,
and I'm from the PNW, being a Seattle boy. I've got relatives in Portland.
Yep.
Love Portland, and it's very unusual.
Very unusual.
It does feel quite apocalyptic.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that you stay safe. I'm assuming you're in an area where that they would notify you if you need to be evacuated and stuff like that.
There's a the 10 freeway.
Yeah, natural barrier there.
But the thing is, there in the Inland Empire, a lot of where I live in Redlands there's a lot of trees, a lot of foliage.
Yeah.
And the whole place would go up.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even imagine what would happen.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Well,
so everybody stay safe.
Stay safe, and we'll switch gears here because obviously we're here to talk about all the geeky stuff. But yeah, please make sure you stay safe, and if you're somewhere where it's really warm, stay hydrated. Stay cool.
Man. I mean, the Observatory, it's a schwitz. I feel like I'm in New York going to a schwitz because by the time this show is over, I will be utterly.
You're going to be all soaking in sweat.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I just took a shower too, so I figured if I'm going to sweat, it should be at least clean.
Right.
Well, not my dogs think I'm just a salt lick, and they just jump all over me. It's not good.
So, Rob, I wanted to just very quick before we start our chat go over. I'm getting excited for the Penguin TV series, and there's been some press about it recently. I even made our image for this week was you as the Penguin,
which I very much appreciated. Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. And I was reading a story where Matt Reeves was talking about the upcoming Batman movie and how the Penguin is kind of like technically the first sequel to the Batman, and then how it's going to pick up after that.
Yeah, which I love.
I think it's a great idea. And one of the things that he was also talking about was which members of Batman's rogues gallery can make the translation into his universe more effectively than others. Somebody asked about Gentleman Ghost, and he said that's probably a step too far to bring him. I mean, unless you were going to do something like Mysterio in Spider-Man, and even that for this universe is kind of stretching it, right?
No, I totally agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
But
Gary Smith in the chat says, Rob, yeah, man, but it's a dry heat. Aliens for you. Nicely done, Gary. It's a dry heat in here, but it makes me wet.
Exactly. Yes. Anyway, so then it got me thinking about which members of Batman's Rogues Gallery that are in that somewhat magical realm could be brought down to a grounded level. And I thought of two, and I wanted to share my ideas with you. So the first one was Poison Ivy, because Ivy, when you think about it, especially the way she's portrayed in the animated series, she kind of has magical power. She controls plants, and it is science-based, but she's got like these. You couldn't do in Matt Reeves' world giant Venus flytraps attacking Batman and stuff.
You could make her a master of potions, like gases and things where she could knock people out en masse, and maybe. And she commits crime. She pumps gas into a whole building and puts everybody out.
And I was thinking that because she is a biochemist, and that she maybe would have been somebody who was working on biotech to help, say, for example, increase crop yields in nations where there's desert and stuff like that. And then the military uses her technology for the opposite, to create ecological havoc, right? And so she becomes a kind of an eco-terrorist, hunting down the folks who have bastardized her technology, including potentially Wayne Industries. So you could kind of tie it into that.
100%.
So then I thought, well, if she's going to be, maybe she's military, maybe she's somebody who would, be like assassinating people with undetectable poisons made from plants. And so I kind of took that idea of how would I envision Ivy in this world, and I went to the DALL-E engine in ChatGPT and asked it to generate an image of what it would look like. So I wanted to share with you my Poison Ivy in a more realistic, and these are rough. These are just, just from one prompt, but wanted to show you my Ivy version here.
Oh, I can't wait to see
So
it.
you should be able to see it pull up here in a second for you, because I know that you're watching it on YouTube as well, so it's a little bit delayed.
All right, I love this.
So
this is dope.
With like the Ivy being like tattooed on her body, and then I'm picturing her with like a sniper rifle, kind of like an killer for hire kind of thing. So that was my thinking around Poison Ivy.
I love this idea. By the way, she's a redhead or dark.
With a redhead, of course, it makes perfect sense to have her be redheaded, right?
Yeah.
And then you can also see her, just as cool as she looks in a fatigue setup like this. You could see her get on a dress and go to a ball and seduce somebody and kill them with killer lipstick that she's developed or something like that. Right?
I think that's great. I love that idea.
So that's one that I thought. The other one that I was thinking was Mr. Freeze, because Mr. Freeze, again, kind of fantastical, this freeze ray and kind of a thing like that. And so I thought, well, in the Matt Reeves universe, now going back to Paul Dini and what's his name? The folks from the animated series.
Yeah, like Alan Burnett or Paul Dini and what's the other guy's name?
I'm spacing on his name right now, but you know who we're talking about. They kind of came up with the what's become the canonical story of Mr. Freeze, that he's trying to help his wife, and in the process, he's keeping her in cryostasis, and he somehow gets with the stuff that she's trying to do to help her, he ends up becoming Mr. Freeze kind of a thing. So then I thought, well, maybe my take in the Matt Reeves universe would be more like not his wife so much, but his daughter, and that maybe they both suffer from some kind of a genetic disorder, and the way and it manifests itself more rapidly in her daughter. And the other thought that I had was maybe he would be kind of like a Walter White type of character, where he's smarter than everybody in the room, but because of just the luck of the draw, he's ended up in a job where he's not appreciated. Maybe he's like a low-level researcher.
Bruce Timm.
Bruce Timm, yes, thank you.
Paul Dini and Bruce Timm.
So then I was thinking, well, imagine a Walter White type character. Nobody wants to help him fund his research to try to help his daughter. He also suffers from this condition. And when we talk about freezing, it's a paralyzing condition. So it's not necessarily about cold, but about paralysis. You're freezing, right? But there's also he also has maybe some psychological damage where he neurologically feels cold all the time. So he has to wear a parka because he can't quite regulate his temperature. And
I like that.
And in going out to hunt down the people who won't fund his research or who didn't help support him when trying to get his daughter off of this situation, he develops a serum that paralyzes people and freezes them. And so then, kind of like a serial killer, Hannibal Lecter style, he leaves them in a frozen state.
I mean, I love this. The problem is, I think you've got so many people that are so married. Like,
exactly.
I've never understood that when you're translating a superhero into the real world, look, Arnold Schwarzenegger, that suit they made for him in Batman and Robin, it was cool, but it's patently absurd.
Exactly.
How do you bring a character like that into the real world and make them believable?
Yeah.
But then when you do that, you'd have to listen to the endless bitching by fans going, they change it too much. And it's like, but you can't, it's a weird thing, because when you've seen Batman in the comics and then in the animated series, like, and I love like Mask of the Phantasm.
Sure.
But when you go into the Christopher Nolan realm and the Matt Reeves realm, you can't do that.
You can't. Right.
You can't. And he even said, he was talking about the fact that, like you said, Gentleman Ghost.
Gentleman Ghost is just too far. It's just one step removed.
Because there is no supernatural and there are no superheroes.
Right.
There is no, whereas, and this is what I've been saying, we've seen people have been talking a lot about, the rumors that James Gunn's Superman is supposed to be great. I'll tell you something. I've been saying it's going to be great from the beginning, but what James Gunn is going to do, I think, is it's going to be totally super science. It's going to take place in the future world. There's going to be everything.
He's embracing the complete opposite of that idea.
Yeah. And we've never had that before.
Right.
Because no one's ever been, he's the only person that I think that's ever worked in superheroics that can strike the tone. He did it in Guardians of the Galaxy and he did it in Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
You can believe that King Shark exists next to Deadshot.
Exactly.
And that is something that is incredibly difficult to do.
Yeah.
And if you're embracing all of the DC universe and it's already there and it's already established, he's going to be able to do what they're able to do in animation, but in live action.
Yeah.
And he's going to be the first, I would assume, and he's going to be the first person who's ever been able to do that.
To pull it off. Yeah. No, I totally agree, which is, again, why I think Matt Reeves has already kind of broken that dam with the way he portrayed Riddler and the way he's portraying Penguin. They're not the mutant penguin creature of Tim Burton's Batman Returns. No. He is just a gangster kind of thing. And Penguin is your kind of serial killer Unabomber type character kind of thing. Anyway, so going back to my Mr. Freeze portrayal, if we were to ever see him in the Matt Reeves universe, this is the design that I came up with for Mr. Freeze here. So you can take a look at his
Walter White
White kind of a thing.
And I love that the glasses are blue.
Yeah,
the serum is blue, and the icy blue.
That's so you can have little hints of the kind of classic Mr. Freeze, and but then he just kind of goes around and this is his, and maybe you could do a crossover with Ivy. Ivy helped him develop this serum that he then uses to paralyze his prey or something like that.
I like that.
Anyway,
I like that.
Anyway, so just wanted to share those ideas with you because I'm excited for what's to come with the Batman, and they keep talking about rumors about what the next bad guy is going to be and whatnot, and
I mean, it really depends. You have to. It's each thing has its own style, and you have to figure out which you're going to do, because when you have things that are at odds, it doesn't work. You know, and I thought that that I like I really love Batman Returns, Tim Burton's second Batman movie. It's imperfect, but I really, the weirdness of all of it. And because of Anton Furst's production design, it's not the real world.
Exactly.
So you can get away with it. And then I thought that Batman Forever and of course Batman and Robin went too far.
Yeah.
It went too far. It just didn't work. But but then again, look, as much as I love Nolan, I do love Batman. Batman Begins, and of course The Dark Knight and all that.
Sure.
But it was funny because when you get to The Dark Knight Rises, which is a movie I both really love and really dislike because it does too many things. Like, is the Gotham Police Department really? You're supposed to believe they've been stuck underground for 100 days.
Yes,
and like one guy, when Bane goes into the stock market, you know, the trading area and blows it all up, you're supposed to believe that Bruce Wayne lost his entire fortune, and to the point where they turn the power off at Wayne Manor. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Nobody has all of their investments in one place,
right?
and then you know, when you see the bat symbol on the burning on the bridge, like, how long did that take him, and why was he spending time? Well, Batman's back, but it's like, why not just make like a cloud burst with the bat symbol on it? I mean, it was so, and it was frustrating to watch that movie because I'm like, don't you? After the first 45 minutes of that, which is all set up, I love. Yeah, I love the first, and people are like, oh, it's slow, but I love the setup of all of it. There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne, and the whole Bane plane thing at the beginning is dope. But it's and I don't think people understand how hard that tone is to create.
Right.
That's why of all the superhero movies, more so. And the MCU started out doing it really, really well as it slowly layered the fantastical upon the real world.
Yep.
And you go back and you watch, I talk about this all the time on the show, Iron Man 1 is
very grounded.
Very grounded. And the storyline is incredibly grounded.
Yeah.
And then they slowly amped up, and it worked really well until it kind of went off the rails.
Yeah. I hear you. Anyway, enough of my proselytizing with my ideas. If Matt Reeves is watching this and he ever thinks about adding Poison Ivy or Mr. Freeze, there's some ideas for him. Although apparently the rumor is that the Council of Owls is what's going to be.
Court of Owls.
The Court of Owls.
I love that idea because there's a lot of potential there, and it shows. What I love about the Court of Owls is that Batman has existed in this world. And the crime that he's fighting, you can't fight when you're talking about international and old money and all. How do you fight that?
It's actually part of what the foundation of Gotham, right? It's kind of like that. It's built into it. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and bring in all of our friends here. Here we go, so that we can have everybody join us in the chat. Welcoming everybody here one at a time. Welcome, everybody. Remember, if you are a member, you can join us here in our Zoom calls. When you, I think it's as little as $1 a month, and you'll get the link sent to you. And then when you join us here, you raise your hand in the Zoom chat, and we will go ahead and call you in the order in which those hands have been raised, so you can share your comments with Rob. Let me go ahead and set you up, Rob, in the main seat here.
The main
seat. There you go. And we have a few people already wanting to chat. So we have all the way from Tel Aviv, I believe, our good friend Alon. Alon, let me go ahead and have you unmute. Alon, you should be able to join us now. Welcome.
Awesome.
What's up, dude?
Hey, how's it going?
How are you doing?
Shalom. You know what? You just started to talk about Batman, and
I didn't. He did. It was Roberto.
Yeah, Roberto. And that's a subject that I really like. And he started to talk about like the Court of Owls and like the concept of old money in Gotham, which is pretty great. But I just wanted to remind you that Batman is the product of old money.
Yeah, yes.
It is. I mean, at least Bruce Wayne is. And he's a descendant of two very big families, the Arkham family and the Wayne family. It depends on your preferred backstory. But that's
what makes it interesting.
It is. I think that's part of the greatness of the Bruce Wayne backstory, which is, and I think somebody said it. I don't remember exactly who it was, but somebody once said that he would not accept a black incarnation of Bruce Wayne. And
It was Mark Bernardin, I believe, who said that.
it could be,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because of the idea of the old money, it wouldn't make sense for that kind of privilege to have been bestowed.
It could make sense, but I think that it adds so much to the Bruce Wayne character and the things that he have to do in order to endure the legacy of like this old money, that I think it does a disservice to the character, and I completely agree with him. And when you talk about the Court of Owls, when you put this into this story, when you clash with this old money with that old money, I think that like this is a great approach that maybe like I hope somebody is listening right now and is adding the is editing the cut right now.
No, I'm with you. I mean, obviously when you talk about like the wealth inequality in our culture right now, it's greater than it's been it's you have to go back more than 100 years to find out, to see as much wealth inequality, especially like here in America.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the idea that, look, money is power, because everybody's for sale. Everybody has a price, and the greatest power on earth is the power to buy people. You can buy off anyone. You can't buy off Batman, but you can buy off just about anybody. And when you can do that, you can manipulate world markets, you can manipulate governments, you can manipulate, anybody. And how do you fight that? How do you fight those powerful, if you're Batman, how do you fight those forces?
I mean, you could fight money with money.
Right. But he's only got a finite, even Bruce Wayne doesn't have infinite resources. And he's one man, one family. He's an American, and I love that idea. And that at the end of the day, and I love there's that Godfather line when in Godfather 2, when J.D. Spradling, the senator, when Michael Corleone says, "You and I were both part of the same hypocrisy, Senator." Like you can't. And ultimately, Batman would come up against powers and forces that there's nothing he can do about. I mean, that might be too cynical for Batman because he can't win, but it would be, I love that idea. I think it's a great, of course, my problem with Batman is how do you we've seen a million Batman stories. I've read a million Batman stories. I've been reading Batman comics for a half a century. And how do you tell a Batman story that's at all relevant anymore? I mean, we all like Batman, so we'll go through the motions and we'll watch it. But how do you make it?
Getting great examples for it? Like the past couple of Batman stories were great.
And the animated series is great. So many of the comic books, the great. How do you? And that's the hard part. The hard part is how do you make a Batman movie that people will like? There's a lot of people that didn't like the Matt Reeves approach with Robert Pattinson as a younger Bruce Wayne. Like how do you do that?
It was pretty popular. I would say that like arguably like the ones that people didn't like was probably Batman vs Superman, and for other reasons than the Matt Reeves Superman. I think it was mostly positively received. But I would argue that probably like the Batman is probably the most consistent with good movies that we've got, and that people were receiving it well. So whichever approach they choose, with whether or not they accept or they adopt Roberto's treatment of Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze, I'm pretty sure that they know what they do, what they're going to do.
I think so too. I mean, look, I think one of the greatest disappointments was that we didn't get a Ben Affleck Batman movie. Like I really wanted, they were going to do Batman versus the Terminator, Deathstroke. I would have killed to see that movie. I mean, because they both have butlers, they're both rich. They both are incredible physical fighters. Maybe Deathstroke's a little older. it would have been great to see Batman basically take on himself.
Yeah.
How do you do that? And I first of all, I've always loved Deathstroke. Deathstroke and Brother Blood are my two favorite DC villains because they both came out of the new Teen Titans. And
I'm still waiting for Mr. Freeze for like a good Heart of Ice adaptation.
Yeah, I mean that's such a great it's such a great story.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you better that?
I don't think you have to better that. I think you can adapt the TV episode into a pretty good story, just like they did with the comics, but just like they did with everything.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my time. I hope you have a great day.
You staying okay out there?
Yeah.
Good to see you, Alon.
I saw a great video of Tel Aviv. The camera panned across the busy streets onto the beach, and everybody seemed to be having a good time.
All right, we got 1001 Johnny coming up next. Welcome, Johnny. You should be able to unmute yourself and join us.
Is that a Star Trek Beyond jacket you're wearing?
No, it's a turtleneck with brown patches.
Oh, because I was going to say you can't be on this show if you're wearing a Star Trek Beyond jacket. No, I'm just kidding. You can.
That would be offensive, actually. Thanks. That's awful.
Actually, that was the coolest thing about that movie was that motorcycle jacket Kirk wore. Because every starship captain has to have a motorcycle jacket.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, nuts. Sorry. I got my roommate watching the live stream on the TV. I got to mute it or I'm going to hear the last 5 seconds coming up and I'm going to distract myself. Oh, all right. What was it? Nuts. I'm all lost.
Did it have to do with Ultraman?
No, it sadly did not. I might have been able to regather my bearings.
Oh. Well,
I don't know. What was the topic going to be? Now I can't remember at all.
Batman, Court of Owls, Mr. Freeze, Batman Begins.
Have you seen Cape Crusader?
The new animated show?
Yeah.
I watched the first episode of it. I kind of liked it. You know, yeah. I mean, I did. I kind of liked it. You know, it's, there's things in it. I'm like, really? You know,
right.
Certain elements. I'm like, really? Are we going to go there? Does everything have to go there?
Well, don't worry. Everything doesn't. I'd say that's like the most dramatic change they made in the first episode. And I thought they did it well. I liked
Yeah, I did too. You know? No, it's just, it's just so it's getting to the point where this overcorrection in our culture, I appreciate it, but it just gets a little much. The whole world.
I've been watching the show with my sister. We actually just finished it this week. Like we were slow behind on it because we just couldn't get connected. But like we had only 3 episodes left, and it took us like till the end of the month before we could finish it. But we really enjoyed the whole show. And
I've just been so busy on the audio drama. I've had very little time to do much else. That's why.
Right.
But I'm gonna catch up with it because I love Batman. I love animation. I love Batman animation. So, and they clearly
say, and I do want to say, like the first episode, the overcorrection. In this case, it's at least they do it well. It's refreshing.
I thought so.
They don't do it just to do it.
No, it's true.
And I like because it wouldn't have worked. The sort of story they did tell, not that they could have told any other story, but they decided to tell that story. And because of the changes, they elevated it a little bit. It felt like I started listening to like old Doc Savage and the Shadow audiobooks last year.
Yeah.
And it feels right at home with that, the whole tone of the show.
Oh, yeah, it totally does. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I keep telling people, you got to read some of the Shadow, read Doc Savage, go back to the classics. And I had a guy say, why on earth would I do that at all? And I just be watching this now, and I don't like it.
But the writing is so good in those old classics. Yeah. And it's really interesting because I find myself when we're doing this audio drama, even though it's set in the 30s, I think the writing is fairly contemporary. I mean, it feels relevant. I mean, in terms of what the characters are doing, the stories, and I mean, motivations and characterization really haven't changed much. Human history is the same. We've been fighting the same battles over and over and over and over again. But yeah, so it's It's funny that you went back and did some of those shadows, like especially the radio shows, are great.
Yeah, I haven't watched or listened to rather all of it, but I do have like a sizable volume of the old radio show on Audible. And I listened to, the books, the original pulp novels or pulp stories are different than the radio, of course. Like, just for those that don't know, he doesn't have any mind powers. He's just very stealthy, which is very impressive considering how big that hat is.
And the scarf, it's the shadow.
Yeah, the scarf, it's just, it matches the drapes or whatever, because he's always hiding in the curtains. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, no, totally.
And yeah, some people were saying they wish they gave Cape Crusader purple gloves, because like even the New 52 with the where the Court of Owls story came from, when they did the 0 year, his first year as Batman, they brought the purple gloves back as an homage, because it's more or less the same costume, just except those purple gloves.
Yeah,
which is, it's fine. What was it? Okay, so like, and a lot of people, they credit everything to Tim Burton, but I've been following the show. It was apparently Chris Tucker who did all the character designs, not Tim Burton. And Chris Tucker's the guy who did Batman Brave and the Bold. Like, that was his show.
Right. I mean, I think my favorite Batman is the Neil Adams, the 70s Neil Adams Batman. That's, I mean, just the way to me, that when I think about Batman, that's how I think of Batman. And everything to me, it's still got the blue and the gray and the yellow, but I just love that Batman design. I'd love to see an animated show done in the style of Neil Adams. I mean, you couldn't really do the line work and all that, but to me, the Neil Adams Batman is
you'd have to have some sort of animation that focuses more on the still frames, kind of like what anime does, just to get the art style to look similar.
I mean, I thought that the Batman. Sorry.
Did you see Batman Soul of the Dragon? Like Soul of the Dragon and The Doom That Came to Gotham, those two direct-to-video movies are what had me really excited for Cape Crusader, because a lot of the production team was the same.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Soul of the Dragon. Oh, that's like, I think that's honestly one of DC's best movies, even though it's a direct-to-video thing. It's the quality of it, like that. I would do well in theaters, I think, if they wanted to give it a chance.
Yeah. Speaking of DC animation, you know what, against my better judgment, I thought was really good was Watchmen. The new Watchmen animated.
Is that out now?
Part 1 is out. It's really well directed.
Okay.
I wish, I mean, the animation is still done. It looks great. They're definitely made it look like Dave Gibbons' artwork, but it's really well directed. I think J. Michael Straczynski wrote the script. It's a pretty great adaptation of the comic.
Yeah. Sweet. I've been looking forward to that, just because I can't say her name anymore. Can't remember the name, but I was talking about that show, right? Because the actress who plays the older Silk Spectre.
Right, Carl Gugino.
No. The older Silk Spectre, the mother.
Yeah, Carl Gugino played that in the movie. Watchmen.
In the movie, but in the animated show, she's voiced by John Carpenter's ex-wife, isn't she?
Oh, Adrienne Barbeau.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. She's Catwoman in the old Batman show, the animated one. She was in Ultraman, USA.
Yeah. Yep.
But
Stevie Wayne from KB Antonio Bay. Yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah.
KB.
All right, my time's up. Sorry to be so sporadic.
No, it's all good to see you. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to have you.
Good to see you, Johnny. And our man down under, Kelvin Wellborn, is here next. Welcome, Kelvin.
Dude, your fellow countrymen are costing us a lot of money in physical media.
I know.
What's going on down there between Umbrella and Imprint? Come on, you guys.
They're just really just picking goals.
I
was impressed with
Suspiria, the Capricorn 1. I mean, there's so much stuff that I have to have. I didn't even know there was another cut of Capricorn 1.
No, actually, I didn't even know that. I haven't even bought that.
And apparently there's a docking sequence, that there's even a piece of music that I didn't even know this. I have no idea. I was just like, click. Send me that. Send me that right now. Click.
Spinning my head out of control.
Yeah, and I mean, Umbrella's killing it too.
Oh, I picked this one up.
Nice.
This
Is that
volume
Oz? Is that Ozploitation 2?
This is one.
One.
Volume 1.
Again,
It's
I've
on the
never even
same.
seen those movies. I'm like, I have to have those. Click.
I have seen Crosstalk a long time ago. Well, back in the 80s, there was a VHS copy, and then they released a copy which was only 4:3 a couple of years ago, and I saw that. And that was quite good. But this, I think they found a new negative, or well, I don't know whether it was a negative or not, but yeah, I always remember the video cover of Lady Stay Dead, but I've never seen Final Cut, never heard of it.
I know. I mean, all these Ozploitation. It's kind of like getting Body Melt from Vinegar Syndrome. Getting that on Blu-ray.
I got the local one here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That movie, Elizabeth still gives me a hard time for showing it to her when we first started dating 9 years ago. I told her, I said, I've never seen this movie, and it's a terrible VHS rip on this DVD. But now I've got the beautiful die-cut cover, beautiful transfer for Vinegar Syndrome.
Yes, I got that cross plot.
Yeah. I can't keep up anymore, though, man. All these, what do you think? Do you think we should still keep buying all these obscure movies I'll probably watch once? I mean, I kind of feel like I'm getting to the point where I feel like I have to buy stuff because we're doing Let's Get Physical Media, but I'm like, do I really want it? Like, maybe I just need to have my favorite 100 movies and just keep watching all the same movies forever.
Well, you tend to do that. I mean, I always get out certain certain movies all the time. I mean, I bought Run Lola Run on 4K, but there's me Blu-ray, which I only bought a year or two back.
The 4K is great, though. It's in the Sony box set.
Yes, so I believe.
But that's that's because of the soundtrack.
Yes.
And it's a Sony. That disc is dope. I mean, I'm like, okay. And that was in the box set, And like the Columbia, yeah, oh, you got that. That transfer is gorgeous.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Thank God I got the British version. But I guess they repop
we don't get the nice box sets of like the Conversation.
I don't even think that disc is out in the United States yet.
No, I don't. I looked and I couldn't see it.
Yeah, no, it's not out yet. I think Lionsgate will be putting it out, but yeah, I bought that ridiculously expensive box set just to
here's
buy
another obscure movie hoving into view as well.
I can't see what that is.
A woman's skin.
Yeah. Who put that? Is that Australian?
Yes, that's Umbrella.
I mean,
down on the store exclusive for this.
Well, that's another thing. I just got. Here, I'll give you a preview. So I just got this. I got the Arrow British Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, yeah.
That this transfer, because the 4K that's Kino Lorber put out is not. It's got problems, but this transfer is absolutely stunning. It's stunning. And I'm like, how many times I bought this movie on Laserdisc? I've bought this movie on DVD. I bought this. This is like Star Wars. How many times? Well, this is the last time I have to buy this in my life. But how many times am I going to watch this again? I mean,
I have a technical question. Actually.
But
not so much a technical question is I have this Mario Bava DVD set from many, many years ago. I mean, all of these transfers are now supplanted by more modern Blu-rays or DVDs.
Yeah.
But there's a documentary on here, Mario Bava Maestro of the Macabre. My question is, should I just take the disc out and put it in with one of the other, and then I can give this box away?
Yes. I got to tell you, I used to be adamantly opposed to that, but now I'm like, no.
I know.
Mix and match.
I just generally also take out booklets as well.
Yeah, well, I've done that with a lot of DVD booklets, and I've put them in. Sometimes that DVD booklets don't fit.
No.
Like the DVD booklet for 2010 doesn't fit in the Blu-ray for 2010. I kept it anyway. But you know what? At the end of the day, we're all insane. Like it's absolute. When you really start thinking about it, it's getting to the point where I think I know this is a terrible thing to say, and I've said it before throughout my life, that I'm getting to the point where I'm going to stop collecting stuff. Because you collect stuff to inspire you through the rest of your life. And it's not that I'm on the downslope of my life, even though I am. I have like, and the problem is they just keep making better things that I already have. Like there's better Starship models, there's better Star Trek models than there's ever been.
I mean, I visited with a workshop. I went to New Zealand. So 2 weeks ago, it was still there. So I had a good time. But I have to say that I was a bit disappointed in the Weta Cave. The shop itself is still good, but I've been there before, and you used to be able to just wander around, look at everything. Now it's just a video program, and you get like a little window into the shop, and you can't see anything. They have this little area of like 8 booths where you can see people working if they're there, and then there's a guy who does special effects with tinfoil. He makes them into.
They probably had some problems with people that came to visit.
Somebody fell over, or
yeah,
their head,
it was an insurance issue or something.
So you know what the place was like, because I went there when it first opened and years ago.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was.
You would have just wandered around.
Yeah, I mean, we had control. We could go anywhere we wanted at Weta when we were doing Lord of the Rings and then on Narnia. And Richard Taylor even took me into the secret room up top at the workshop where they were working at the time on doing Neon Genesis Evangelion, the live action Evangelion that never happened. So, I mean, it was wild to go up there. Wait, we lost you.
Oh, sorry. Time was up. So do you want me to bring him back?
Yeah, bring him back real quick. Just
let me go ahead and.
Kelvin's old school.
I know.
I talk too much. That's the problem.
Sorry.
But one of the other disappointing things was the guy. He was some kid, and they had this makeup effect video of Jed Brophy as Nosferatu, right? They show you the process of the mask and everything like that. I thought, this is cool. And he goes, then they sort of shoot this video like a film, like it was Nosferatu 1922, and the kid goes, "Oh, this was like film noir," and I just went, "Please, where's German expressionism here, buddy?"
Yeah, the youth of today.
Anyway, that's it, Rob. Thanks very much.
Always good to see you.
Next time.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, good to see you, Kelvin. Hold on, just need to. Where did Kelvin go? I can't find him. There we go. Now you're on the spot. That's the problem. After I pull somebody off, then I lose him in the queue. We've got Brian coming up next. Brian Erdy. Welcome, Brian. Oh, hold on. I just lost. Oh, there you are. And hello.
How's it going?
How are you, dude?
Just smashing.
It's just me on camera there we go. Now you're on camera. I love your background. It's so clean. I need to do that. My background's so cluttered. So how was going to the Star Trek movies?
Oh, it was a blast. And from doing junkets for 20 years, I've got hundreds of thousands of airline miles and hotel points.
Right.
When I saw that they were playing them all on the big screen, especially the director's edition of the motion picture, I was just like, what the hell? It didn't cost me anything, and it was a great weekend, and I got to hang out with Ralph Winter.
That's cool. He's a really nice guy.
He is a nice guy. And I don't think a lot of people before he spoke knew who he was, or
right.
And he's just a guy walking around. I knew who he was, and I approached him and just asked a few questions, but and not obnoxiously. You know how to play the game. Just be cool. But he was totally like, what else do you want to know? So it was a good night.
Yeah, I mean, he worked on the X-Men movies too. I interviewed him when I was up in Vancouver doing special features for X-Men, and he's just a really, really nice guy.
So yeah, it was a nice weekend. And you know, to add to something that you just talked about as far as collecting and, you know, how do you sustain it? And in my case, my daughter moved to Georgia a couple years ago, and at the same time, I had a pod that I had stored in Ohio delivered. So for the first time in like 20 years, I had all of my stuff, all my childhood stuff, all my current collectibles. And Josie, my daughter, as I'm unpacking all this stuff, she's like, "Look, I don't want to be morbid, but when you die, what am I going to do with all this stuff?" And she's like totally serious. She's like, "Dad, this is you're not a hoarder. You're like a very organized hoardee. Okay, everything is very lovely, but you have too much of it." So my solution was, you know, she had a great point, and you know, my garage is nothing but tubs of stuff.
Yeah.
I went through it and I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. If I haven't picked up something in 5 years or opened it, it's gone. And I contacted a local place called Second Chance Collectibles here in Atlanta. And I just sold a ton of my collection. And the only things that I kept, this is my mindset.
Did you get good money for it?
I did, like 12 grand.
That's okay. That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's sweet. I mean, I'm right there with you. Like I have all this like stuff. No one's gonna care. Like expensive stuff. You know, like my Space Battleship Andromeda model that's almost done. It's 4.5 feet long. It costs, I think, $2,500 if you look at all the part work stuff. And no one's gonna even know what it is. People are gonna look at it and go, "What the fuck is this? Like, why does anybody care? And why do I have 4 big giant space battleships?" If you don't know what it's from, you're just gonna look at it and go, toss it. I mean, and that's it. You know what really bums me out? What really bums me out is I have a lot of expensive film books, like the Mario Bava All the Colors of the Dark book that Tim Lucas took 20 years to write. That's a really expensive book, and I mean, relatively speaking, and it's probably, you know, if you wanted to find it, it's expensive. It's like 1,000 more than it's expensive. I mean, as far as books go, it's 1,000. It's not like Boris Balkan and The Ninth Gate expensive, but it's, you know, no one would care. People would come in and be like, "Whatever, here, you want this Mario Bava book?" You know, or my Toshin books, like my Godfather family album, you know, and it's none of this stuff as you move through. I mean, unless you have carded Star Wars figures from the first 12 back carded Star Wars figures, those will always sell. But the stuff I have, no one's going to care. Although, like, and there's stuff I can't, like, Executive Replicas is making a 6th scale pod from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Like, I gotta have it. I pre-ordered it. Like, someone's making it. Click. Like, that's something I have to have. Like, I can't get away from it. I'm like, I have to have that, and I'm gonna hang it right here, and I'm gonna have it looking down on me. But like, even that, when you pass away, it's not morbid. It's like, what would Elizabeth do with a 6 scale 2001 pod? She has no connection to it. She's not gonna hang it up anywhere. Like, what do you do? It's a good question. Your daughter put you on the right path.
Well, and what I ended up doing was I was like, okay, so I looked at this as an opportunity. So I was like, I'm going to design my editing suite with all of my cool stuff that I kept. And then I have my art studio across the hallway where I did the same thing. And that's what I'm shooting for my follow-up collection video. And the only thing that I have purchased that I like with you, I was like, oh my God, click. The only thing I purchased to add to this, to kind of make it the centerpiece, was they put to somebody, I forget, the Stan Arts, a company called Stan Arts, put together a Bruce shark, but it's the mechanism where you can see the side.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not buying anything else to show off or anything like that. But when I saw that, I'm like, click. I not have that.
Did you get the Jaws Lego set?
I'm not a big Lego guy.
Okay.
I'm not crazy about Legos. Same thing with the Funko Pops. I mean, they're okay, But Legos, I've never gone down that rabbit hole of collecting. And further, I didn't think it was a very good set. I didn't think it looked very good.
Yeah. I didn't get it either. I thought about it, but I didn't get it either.
I've got my McFarlane Orca, which is beautiful, and that's all the Orca I need.
Yeah, that was a great set. The one from like 10 years ago or 15 years ago or something. Yeah, it's a great set.
Yeah,
it's great.
All right, well, I am out of time. Peace out. We'll see you on the flip side.
Good to see you, man. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Sorry, Brian, I am having difficulty finding you here, so let me go ahead and get you. There you go. Remove. And 1001 Johnny just shared a. Where is it? Here we go. Show. Just shared. Damn it! I was flustered. I meant to say Bruce Timm, not Tim Burton. I think earlier when he was talking about the Batman animated designs. And he has been a member for 15 months. And that reminds me, you can also share super chats here if you would like to have your comments read during our time here. So thanks for sharing that, Johnny. And coming up next, we've got... Chris wants me to wait until we're off the air, so we're going to go ahead and skip to Marco. So Marco
right.
E, you are going to be up next. So welcome, Marco.
Good to see you, man. Or I can't see him yet.
Oh, I don't know if Marco has maybe stepped out. He may have thought that he wasn't up yet, so maybe we can bring Vixter in instead. Oh, did we hear Marco?
Hold on a second.
Here we go. Okay, here you are.
You know, whenever I hear the name Marco, I always think of Hunt for Red October, when like the Russian prime minister gets the letter from Marco Ramius and he's walking into his office and he sits down and he goes, "Oh, Marco," and then he reads it. And then he spills his tea because he's like, "I've defected and taken the Red October with me." Oh, Marco, not so. Marco, you've been very supportive of the channel, and it's much appreciated. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I want to start off because a few of my super chats last night would have made sense had you read them when I sent them. And I said, why don't you ask Campia to help you out, or the Critical Drinker, or Chris Gore? I meant to promote True Noir.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I didn't do a lot of that. I didn't ask a lot of, because I figured I mean, I could have, if we were looking for more money, I probably should have, but I didn't want to tread on those. If we were looking for like $150,000 as opposed to 30, I might have done that. I mean, but it's funny because the more I have to tell you, and I know it's not just, I know I'm making it, but it isn't hyperbole. It's fucking great. I mean, it's really turning out to be the I wish we were making a movie, because the cast is incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah. And so far, it sounds like it's going to be really good.
It's really good, and it's really good because it started with Max Allan Collins' script. I mean, that was the great gift, was meeting him. A year ago, I didn't know him, and you know, I met him last August, and the fact that we're here, you know, I understand people. Oh, it's just an audio drama, but as far as it goes, like I put it together. It's wildly entertaining when I can start putting the actors together and their scenes and everything. It really is great.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, well, I listen to a lot of audio books, and I try to get dramas because I do travel sports. My kids play hockey. I drive all over the place, and they're great to listen to in the car when you're driving, especially at night.
You're going to love this because it's 35 minutes. So it's great for, like, I when it comes out, I said to Mike Bond, my business partner, I said, we should do like a Friday drive time commute push.
Yeah.
Like if you're driving home and Friday traffic, listen to this, because that's the thing. Cars now have such great audio systems. Like I drive a Prius, and it's the stock Prius, but it's a stock audio system. It's great. And when I was playing the proof of concept in the car, I couldn't believe how good it sounded. And that's kind of what we're going for, because it is a workout. It is a 5.1 full surround mix, and it's pretty amazing.
That's awesome. Well, I have two things I wanted to share.
Yes, sir.
One thing is I saw Late Night with the Devil.
Oh, and what'd you think?
I mean, I thought it was incredible. It was very refreshing.
Yep.
It's a movie that's right up my alley. Like I thought it fabulous. I can't wait to. I'm going to watch it like 3 more times. I already know I will.
Well, you know, the guy I know, one of the producers, Roy Lee.
Yeah.
Roy Lee, who's the person that brought J horror to America. Like he go and got the rights to all these Japanese horror films like The Ring, and brought them here. He also got the rights to like The Departed, which
I've
was
heard his
Infernal.
name, yeah, Jay Lee.
Infernal. So Roy Lee he's been killing it with Roy. He Strange Darling, Late Night with the Devil, Boy Kills World. He's been the prime mover behind all of these. The guy has unbelievable taste. I don't know how he gets these scripts. He is a filter. He's also producing right now Stephen King's The Long Walk that Francis Lawrence is directing, which is it was a Bachman book. That movie's going to kill it. I mean, and he's producing a movie called Weapon that Zach Krieger, who directed Barbarian, is making, and another movie called Companion. All of his like low budget genre fare, like Late Night with the Devil, Companion, Strange Darling, they're all great.
Yeah.
And they're movies that I want to go see because they're not expensive, but they're innovative, like you just said.
And for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, in the beginning of the film, there's like a recap of the guy's life. When the movie ends, go back and watch the recap, because a lot of stuff will just jump out at you and you'll be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. And then I got this, and it slaps. The Arrow Desperado.
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, I got that too.
I mean, it's beautiful.
I don't have the Steelbook, but
yeah. Well, I already had the other movies, and
yeah.
That shelf space, that's the last thing I had to say is you guys are on here talking about collecting, and I mean, I'm in the same boat, I'm going to be 50 next year.
Welcome to the 50s, buddy.
And yeah, I've also just been like, what the hell am I going to do with all this stuff? And what am I doing with all this stuff?
Well, yeah. I mean, it seemed like when I was a kid, you collected this stuff to fuel my interest in the entertainment business and stuff. But now it's like, why am I still, I can't, because they're making stuff. When I was a kid, they're making the best stuff they've ever made now.
Right.
The best action figures, the best model kits, the best. But now it's too much. It went from being like $6 to get an enterprise model to, if you want to get that new die-cast refit, it's $700. But it's awesome, and you don't have to build it.
So I know I'm going to keep a few like centerpieces. I've already whittled down my Blu-ray collection to about 800 to 1,000, and it's just going to stay right there because I will die before I can watch every one of these movies again.
Well, that's where I'm at too. And it gets to the point where, I've got basically a Criterion closet space of discs, and you keep having to upgrade, and they put out all this stuff I've never seen before, but it gets a little nutty.
Yeah. When I see a big box set like Showgirls, right? All right.
The Vinegar Syndrome Showgirls.
I want that movie restored, but God, please don't send me anything big. Make it as skinny as possible. I have no shelf space left.
See, I like the big boxes, but yeah, it's getting to the point where I feel an obligation to buy this stuff just to support the effort.
Most definitely.
And I love that the boutique labels are doing this, and that they're spending all this time, and I feel like, but again, it was like I would have loved to have that in the 80s when I was a kid.
Absolutely.
Like 40 years ago. But and now, I mean, again, we're getting the best transfers and the best versions. And I know that, I guess the best part, the only thing that doesn't keep me up at night is that this is the end. This is the last physical media format that will exist. There's not going to be 8K. Nobody's going to go scan their movies anymore like that. And and it's the end of cinema as we know it. So I can say, okay.
It was good to see you, Marco.
And again, Marco, thanks for all the support on the channel. I appreciate that. Now I know how much we're birds of a feather, sir. You and I are birds of a feather.
We got Victoria joining us next.
Our favorite solicitor, barrister. I know, I always get it wrong.
I'm not a barrister. Not a barrister. No. That would require me to stand up and speak in public, and oh no. I like going to the theatre. I wouldn't be very good doing my own theatre, which is basically what that job is. Not me.
I like that idea. Doing your own theater. That's what law is.
Kind of what it is, because I think that's why a lot of actors say they quite like playing like barristers, because it's like, oh, they just stand up and perform. Yeah, not for me. But yes.
How are you? Have you seen anything you liked, plays or movies?
Yeah, it's been quite a busy week actually. So I saw Sing Sing at last weekend at I don't know whether that's out there. Why?
Yeah, it is. I haven't seen it, but I heard a really interesting interview with the director and how the movie got made and how they employed a lot of the people that were.
Yeah, because interestingly, because I saw it at the British Film Institute, and they had they gave us all little like booklets that were kind of almost like kind of telling us a bit about how it was made and kind of thing, which was really cool. I was like, oh, I wish I could get this at all films I went to see. So I thought that was really good. I thought that was I really enjoyed it. Kind of I can see why people are saying it could be kind of popping up in acting kind of categories in the award season. So that I would recommend. Else I'm currently reading this right now, which is the London Film Festival program brochure, which came out a couple of days ago. Because
that looks like it's fairly chunky. A lot of movies.
They made it smaller now. It used to be A4, and the last couple of years they've reduced it down. But so my member booking is Tuesday. So it's trying to kind of plan what I could see and what would fit and, kind of all of that jazz. And then there's the challenge of seeing what I can actually buy, which is a whole different ball game, because it's a bit of a Hunger Games bloodbath when it comes to buying film festival tickets. So that is that. And then the other thing, and I thought, I went to the book launch of Gillian Anderson's new book that she's
about
collected.
sex.
Yeah.
I gotta get that.
I did think, I bet Rob will get this. So,
is it spicy? Have you read any of it?
Read a couple, and the kind of event had like people reading some of them out, and it was like, some of these are quite creative. So
wow.
And
that looks like a pretty big book, though. How do you read it one-handed?
Nice, Rob. So that was why. So I've had quite and I saw Jon Snow on stage as well.
Oh, how was he?
He was good. And he was very good. It was quite raunchy, actually. I was not expecting it to be quite as raunchy as it was, but it was good. I think it's quite controversial because it's about kind of race and
well, he was the man who brought oral sex beyond the wall in Game of Thrones. Why'd you do that? Says he great.
True. So
you're a redhead.
Busy week, and I'm still waiting for my in-art Aragorn. As you talk about not collecting things anymore, I'm like, I probably need to not. I think I'll quit whilst I'm ahead.
I don't know, but those are great figures, though. The Gandalf.
It doesn't look. The photos of the Aragorn one now don't look as good as the prototype. The prototype looked more like Vigo. This looks
but I think when you get it in hand, I haven't got that figure yet. I kind of have been chilled out on the figures lately. Just the Exo 6 figures, the Star Trek figures are the ones I can't stop getting. But
fair enough.
And then the thing is, what really bothers me? I believe that if you could get all of the Fellowship, all 9 of the Fellowship, I think people would do that. But they as they get down, they're like, is Inark going to do Boromir? I mean, Sideshow did a really good Boromir, but these and the four hobbits. I mean, are you going to be able to get those figures? And I know that InArt's going to do Legolas and stuff, and it's a bummer because how great would it be to have an InArt fellowship on your like? There are people that would be the only.
Couldn't afford that.
Yeah, I'd love to have it. I'd love to have it.
I might stop with Gandalf and Aragorn. That might be my limit. I might behave after that. But
what do you think if Ian McKellen comes back and plays Gandalf again in the Hunt for Gollum movies?
I mean, at this point, isn't it set in the past though? So I suppose they'd have to de-age him or something, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. You put the wig on him and the beard. Doesn't matter.
It's all about the voice for me. I think that's why I think if it was another actor playing Gandalf, I'd probably be able to be fine with it. But then it would be as soon as they spoke, I'd be like, "Oh, you're not Gandalf." So I kind of, yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, he's still recovering from falling off the stage.
I know. I mean, he's 85 now.
I know.
It's wild.
They need to speed up with that script if that's going to happen. Because I don't know, but yes, but now you said about that Silence of the Lambs as well. I might pick that up tomorrow because I know it's in FOP, so I might go and get myself.
It's really good. It's really good. I mean, Arrow is just killing it. The transfers of everything that they put out. Getting things like Narc and American Gigolo and getting the Mexico trilogy set and all that era. That's the problem. Like all of these boutique labels are doing such great work. It's you look at it and you're like,
no. So yeah, I'll blame you when I buy that because I bought Chinatown this week. And what else did I buy?
It's great. That's a great disc.
I bought Perfect Days because I still love that film.
Such a great movie.
So, but I might throw in that now you've said it because I know it's in there because I saw it when I was in there earlier in the week. So,
yep. Did you get the Criterion Perfect Days?
That's not out here yet. So mine is the movie one. So if the Criterion one ends up having more things on it, I'll be really annoyed.
Yeah, movie. No, they did. I bought the movie Decision to Leave 4K disc, and movie's putting out the Substance. The Substance comes out in 2 weeks, and I can't wait to see that.
I've heard about that. I've heard about that from a friend. Yes,
I cannot wait.
It was good. Mm-hmm. Yes. But yeah. Well, I will speak to you soon, Rob. Anyway, and take care.
All right. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Vic. Take care.
I always think of you when I will look at my 4Ks because the Exorcist Bible set is facing outward.
All right. We've got Undead Sick coming up next. Undead Sick, welcome.
Undead Sick, how are you, sir? How are you? Hot, dripping.
Hot?
Although, I'm not.
The heat wave is over here, so it's good.
Man, it's not here. I don't know when it's going to break.
Okay. Well,
probably in November.
Hang in there.
I know.
But by the way, you were talking about movie books. It's heavy, but
oh yeah, that's a great book. That's what a great cover.
In my top 5 of favorite directors of all time.
Wow, that's really nice.
Yeah, it's really big and heavy. But so yeah, it's one of my favorite directors of all time.
Yeah,
in my top 5 anyway. But did you get that? You should find a copy of that.
I have a different version of it. I have that book, but it's got a different cover.
Oh, okay.
I got it. It's old. I got mine like 20 years ago or something.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's why I was like, I want that cover.
Yeah. No, right? And but you talked about collecting physical media, and
yeah, mine's right there, and it's not that cover. It's funny because I've got my Beyond Terror, I've got the Mario Bava book, Kurosawa, stuff like that.
Right, interesting. But anyway, you were talking about physical. I will never stop collecting physical media. Like not when they are releasing stuff like this.
Dude, wow, that's an awesome cover. Where'd you get that? Is that Dutch?
No, this is I don't know it's Midnight Classics. The only problem is it's an Italian label.
Right.
No, all the language is Italian. So
yeah, but I gotta tell you, there's a Google Translate app that works on your phone.
Oh, really?
And all you have to do is pass the phone. I've been using it to read instructions for my Japanese models. All you have to do is set up which languages you want. It's magic. You pass it over, and it immediately turns the prose into whatever language you want it to be in. It is the most amazing thing ever, and it's just on my phone. And now I don't care what language something's in. I can just read it. It's awesome.
Really? Oh.
And it was just a regular Google Translate app.
Oh.
And it's on your phone, and you can just watch it. I don't even know if it costs money.
It's a free app. It's a free app. So yeah. And actually, if you have an Android phone, it's built right into the camera now.
It is the most amazing shit ever. That's what AI is going to be great for. I mean, if I was 20 years old, I'd go to Europe, Japan, pick up girls and have instant translation. Great.
I know, right? But
look at that.
I've already watched it, but the film is in English or is English subtitles, as well as the special features do. So it's fine. And you get all this stuff again. But
yeah, I mean, come on, what's not to love?
And it's really fun. By the way, French, Asian, and Italian, European cinema is always pre-order. Like, it's always clicked for me. That's an automatic because that's my favorite.
Okay, bro. Since you're in Holland, tell me this: I want fucking Paul Verhoeven's The Fourth Man. Why can't I get The Fourth Man? I have it on DVD, and that's it. That's one of my most eagerly awaited movies, and I can't get it.
I know, right? It's funny. I think it might be a rights issue. I think
I'm sure it is, but it's like, come on, and all like Katie Tipple, Turkish Delight. I have an old DVD box set of Verhoeven's movies, I think from Anchor Bay, and I mean, I've got Spetters, and I've got Black Book, and I've got obviously Total Recall and RoboCop and Hollow Man and all that, but I want Soldier of Orange. I want Business is Business. I want all of his Dutch movies.
I know, but let me tell you something. Because it's very. By the way, if you are your science fiction, fantasy, horror, look up the films of Dick Maas.
Oh, dude, I have Amsterdam.
Okay,
I have Der Lift.
Okay.
I think those two. And
yeah,
and I love that stuff. And so in Seattle where I grew up, I don't know why, but Dan Ireland, sadly, he passed away. They would bring Dutch cinema to see. That's how I met Fons Rodemaker, and he brought Monique van de Ven with him. Renee Sousendijk, I got to meet her, hang out with her, and Paul Verhoeven himself, Verhoeven. I got to talk to him for like an hour. Wow. And they brought and so I got to see all this stuff in the theater. And they brought there was a Dutch movie I remember seeing called Shopping or something that I really liked. And what I loved about Dutch movies of the 80s, it didn't matter what the movie was about. Somehow, some way, they would talk about how the Germans fucked them in World War II. In every single Dutch movie, it could have been totally out left. Somebody, it would come up that fuck the Germans.
I know, that's the thing. But let me tell you this. It's because it's very interesting. You know why so many people gravitate towards American films, Dutch people, I mean? Because we have a very weird film industry. It's very how do I put this? In Holland we have the saying, just be normal, that's normal enough. And apart from Dick Maas, we don't really have any like genre filmmakers.
Right.
Most of the stuff that gets put out here are romantic comedies in film, and on TV we basically all we do is crime thrillers or something.
Right. Yeah.
Really depressing, really. But and we only have like one Comic-Con in Holland as well. So it's a very weird, and so people like Dick Maas have to like work 10 times as hard to get their budget and funding in order to make their films. Like in the 30 years that he has been a movie director, he's made only like 7 films.
Mm-hmm.
Because he just can't get the funding, or he's laughed at, or it's why do you think Paul Verhoeven went to America?
Yeah, he left. I mean, when I met him, he was at the Seattle Film Festival with Flesh and Blood, his first English language movie. Yeah. And he brought like Jennifer Jason Leigh, who was dating Bruno Kirby at the time. So they all came to the festival, and at the closing night party, nobody was talking to him. He was just kind of hanging out. And I want to say I was 16 or 17. And I went up to talk to him, and he talked to me for an hour. And I ran into him. I've run into him a couple times in LA, and he always gave me the time of day. And he was surprised I even knew who Fons Rodemaker was. And I was like, dude, Monique Van de Ven, man, thank you. Thank you for Katie Tipple, and thank you for Turkish Delight, especially. And he just laughed at me. I was like, oh yeah. But it was, I love Dutch cinema because there's a sensibility that was very American in a way,
right,
that I really enjoyed with Dick Moss's movies and with Fons Rodemaker and with Verhoeven.
Yeah,
and that's why I think it worked really well between going from RoboCop to Total Recall to Basic Instinct to The Hollow Man. Not so much, but
it's a bit,
but still, I mean, he was pushing the limits with effects technology then, certainly.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Like I said, it's very tricky. Let me give you an anecdote because I think my time is almost up.
Yeah.
He eventually made a movie, Dick Maas, which is called Prey, which was about a lion running loose in Amsterdam. And yeah, I know, right?
I got to see that.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's pretty. He had to rely on CGI for most of the part, and it's very it looks cheesy. But he was relying on CGI because he wanted to use an actual lion from the circus,
Yes,
trained to do those kind of things. And there was some kind of political party about animals and stuff, and
of course
ran all over him, and he couldn't do it. That's Holland. That's Holland right there.
Right.
But there is progress because you know what he's working on right now, and it's actually happening, which is good. You know what he's working on right now?
I don't.
Amsterdam 2.
First of all, that's like one of the greatest titles in the world, Amsterdam. No, that was the greatest. You had to go. By the way, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I liked Amsterdam quite a bit. So, but I love that title. It's one of my favorite movie titles ever.
Yeah.
How come no one had thought of it before then?
I don't know. But anyway, I just give you an insight in how weird of a country is in terms of movie making, Holland. Anyway. So,
hey, Undead, has there been any talk about the American remake of Speak No Evil? Because I know that's a Dutch production, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't heard a lot about that, really.
No.
To be honest, because I don't follow modern movies that much as I used to,
okay.
Especially now that I'm collecting physical media. But I haven't really heard anything about it.
The American trailer gives the entire movie away.
Not only that, but it looks like they've changed it also considerably. So yeah. So, all right. Well, it was great seeing you, Undead. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend.
Great seeing you. Bye.
Good to see you, man.
And we have a super chat from Kevin Wellborn. I want to make sure that I acknowledge that. He says he bought the Italy 4K of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Thanks. So I think I saw the cover for that, but it's the Italian cover, right? Yeah, there it is.
I found out that this is the Italian version that's like 12 minutes longer than the Kino Lorber version. It's not like the full unexpurgated version, but this was really cheap. I didn't get the slipcase for it, but hey, it came. I'm going to show this on Let's Get Physical Media tomorrow.
Nice.
There you go. So yeah, and I saw somebody said, I'm like, oh my God. And it looks great. It's not as yellow as the MGM version is. So,
and then Prizik has been a member for 2 months, and I think this is speaking about True Noir earlier. You're way too modest, Rob. Gary would promote the hell out of True Noir if you asked. So,
but I'm going on FNT next week. I think on the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
The 13th, which is great because I told X-Ray Girl, I'm like, you know what the 13th of September is? It's the day the moon left Earth's orbit.
That's right.
Back in 1999. I mean, we're still. Why do you think we have global warming? It's just we're in the matrix because there is no moon.
Right.
When you look up and see the moon, it's not really there. It was blown out of Earth's orbit in 1999.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I recently discovered, Rob, speaking of True Noir and audio dramas, recently discovered a British audio drama called Space 1899 or 1889, which is
Really?
like a steampunk space show.
Wow.
Yeah, I
I'd
found
listen
it
to that.
randomly on YouTube because I like to listen to audio dramas, going to bed at night. And it's a whole series called Space 1889 or 1899. So it's like Victorian age sci-fi kind of thing. So
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty funky. If maybe some of our British listeners know about that, but I'll try to do a little bit more research on it. So. All right, how are we doing here? I think Krizik we're going to skip Krizik because he wants to join us when we are off the air. So we're going to jump to Richard Eve. Welcome, Richard. You should be able to join us now.
Hello?
What's up? What's going on?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, 1 second. There I am. Hello.
Hello
Hi.
there. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Yes. Hello, Mr. Burnett.
Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much. I was on, I think, maybe about a month ago.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me to get here in time because I work on a Saturday. So I have to run home and get to the shit, can you hear me all right? Am I clear?
Yeah,
okay?
you sound good.
All right. So, a bit of show and tell. Is that okay?
Always.
All right. So, you authentic Star Wars nerds, which I suspect you are,
Yes.
may recognize this. This is my birthday present to myself that I made myself.
Wow. What did you make that out of?
So it's made out of I think it goes by different names. It's called, sorry, my cat is coughing in the corner here.
Oh, no worries. Tell the folks at home what that is.
Right. So this is one of Ron Cobb's concept sketches for the country.
Yeah.
And it didn't have a name.
Right.
I call it Flo. I call her Flo because because Florens ambulans is the Latin name for walking plant. Flo.
That looks great, though.
Yeah. So she's fully articulated. She's got wire.
What did you make that out of?
Right. So there's this stuff called it used to be called bouncy clay, right? And it's kind of for preschoolers, for kids. It's like a really light clay that hardens into a rubber. But it goes,
I love the texture of the color and everything. Wow.
The body bit is the bouncy clay bit, and this is basically wire. It's tracing paper cut around and glued to a wire frame.
But it really looks, you've really given it an organic feel. It looks great. I love the head too.
Yeah. It's pretty kind of gross, cute.
It's funny because I could see like Hasbro making that as a whole. It's funny they haven't done like a whole. They've done some production sketch versions of things like early. That's a great. I mean, for a Cantina creature, that's so cool.
Well, what I'm trying to build is a kind of, because this is 6-inch scale. So what I'm trying to build is
so it's a Black Series figure.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to build is like a 6-inch scale Cantina diorama that's totally sort of fourth draft Star Wars.
Right. Wow.
With like Star Killer and all that kind of thing.
Yeah. Like stormtroopers with lightsabers. Right. Like in the Ralph McQuarrie paintings.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's my headcanon now. It's fourth draft or nothing.
Have you got the dark? It's not really fourth draft, but the Dark Horse, the Star Wars adaptation.
I saw that and it did pique my interest, but then it didn't get very good reviews.
Yeah. Well, it's not. I did buy I have the big slipcase version that comes with all the different artwork and stuff. And I just got it just because it's kind of a weird artifact. But
how did it read? How did it?
It's not. It's hard because you're fighting against what Star Wars is, and you're looking at this stuff going, this isn't very good compared to what they made. It's interesting, but it's
you
not.
can see where a lot of the prequel stuff came from.
Yeah, yes, you can. You can.
Yeah, he wanted George Lucas wanted to hoover up those ideas, didn't he? You know, and get them in there somehow. When talking of like what Star Wars is, it's really interesting. I think it was a couple of years back. I listened to the Star Wars radio play.
Yep.
Which is good.
It's really good. And it's amazing how it fleshes out the story too. Yeah. Like the first half an hour is at Anchorhead, you know, with Luke and all of his friends and Biggs and Cammy and Fixer.
You know, and like, I mean, God love Carrie Fisher, right? God love Carrie Fisher. But in the radio drama, the way that the actress reacts to the destruction of Alderaan is just like, okay. Yeah, I believe you. I believe you know.
No, and I thought Brock Peters was a great Darth Vader. You know, and it's really good. Yeah, it's really good.
It is really good. And the listening to it was really interesting because all of the kind of the radio theater group had to go on was Star Wars. There was no Strikes Back or anything like that.
Nope.
You know? And this is a play about good and evil, and they took that to the max. You know, they built up your hatred for the baddies, and they built up your love for the heroes, and so and then you have this Jaws moment at the end, you know, and it's great. You know, you've done a really good job, and obviously the world building now is contra to canon, but that was so good. That was so imaginative and so professional. You know, I really like that. I mean, as you can probably tell, Star Wars it's become a bit of a disappointment to me.
Well, you know, it's funny. I love the idea. To me, I think what's going to be interesting with the advent of AI and what people are going to be able to start doing, people are going to start crafting their own. Like this kid who did the recut of Ahsoka, turned Ahsoka into, I don't know, he dropped a behind the scenes video that I was watching last night of everything he changed when he did it's the same kid who made the Obi-Wan Kenobi series into a movie. What's really interesting to me about this kind of stuff is like what you're doing with a fourth draft Star Wars is that it's fandom. People are going to take fan films to another level. People are going to be able to do their own versions of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, AI is going to allow that. I don't know how it's going to work with copyright and all that, but you know, it's strange to me just how bad Star Wars has become. And I don't mean it's not, forget, you know, your identity politics, but the actual stories that are being told are bad. And you'd think that like, just go take samurai, just pick any samurai, go do Throne of Blood in the Star Wars universe. I mean, you could just do that and you've got infinitely better stories than they're trying to tell. I mean, I was so excited for Obi-Wan, the series. And then when they made Little Princess Leia a part of it, whose idea was that? Like somebody's actually, and when you're watching, like when she's having people chase her through the woods, I'm like, this is absurd. This is absurd. Where you have an Obi-Wan Kenobi book where he goes off on his own, adapt that. I mean, all these great Star Wars stories already exist, whether they're canonical or in books. The stuff that we're getting has been so, like, I'm watching Ahsoka, I'm like, what is this even about? I mean, I understand, I watched Rebels, I know what it's about, but Grand Admiral Thrawn, go back to the fucking Thrawn trilogy, go back to Heir to the Empire, do something. But it's amazing how far Star Wars has fallen.
Yeah.
Amazing. But I do love it's good to see you. I do love that fourth draft. That figure, I want that figure. That Ron Cobb, the plant figure that's the cantina. I want to see, I think isn't HasLab doing a cantina?
Oh yeah. They've done they've already, I think, funded it.
Yeah, and is it for Black Series figures?
No, it's three-quarter scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Man.
vintage series. It's vintage.
Oh, it is vintage
Yeah.
series because
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be great to have a fourth generation. I mean, he could build it if he's already fabricating. He could build your own 6.
Yeah, I mean, you can
12 scale.
You could probably 3D print. That's probably already somebody who has the 3D print files out there that you could probably purchase or download and use. And also, Richard, I was going to tell you, if you're interested in, I know Rob and I both mentioned that the Star Wars graphic novel is so, but if you go on YouTube, somebody has actually done a radio drama of the Star Wars graphic novel.
Oh, really?
So they kind of applied the formula of the original Star Wars radio drama and dramatized the Star Wars. So it's a cool approach if you want to take a listen to it. So all right, we've got Darth Plato coming up next. Welcome, Darth. You should be able to join us now. Oh, well, sometimes Darth steps away from the desk. So let's see. Maybe he's not aware that we are here. That he's up
We
next.
can come back to him.
You can come back to him. So we have YS is up next. Now YS is also somebody who has written here saying he wasn't sure if he was going to be available. So let's see. YS, are you able to join us now? You should be able to unmute if you can join us. Doesn't look like it, so we'll skip to Adam next. Adam.
To Germany. We're going to Germany.
Adam, are you here?
I go to Germany twice this week.
Major Chacha is saying this is like a seance. I'm calling on the spirits. See who's available. Adam, are you here with us? Can you hear us?
He is.
He is?
But we can't hear him. We can see him.
I've asked to I'm going to ask you to unmute again, Adam. Let's see if you can do it again.
He's like a Carol Marcus.
There we go.
Ooh, wow.
There you are.
Listen to the tone of your voice.
Welcome, Adam.
How you guys doing?
What's going on, man?
Nothing. I called with nothing. I wasn't sure what to talk about, but it always works itself out. First off, you got the Mario Bava book. I wasn't liquid enough at the time to jump on that, even though I don't even know my Baba that well. I just knew get this thing.
That book. It's Tim Lucas's life's work.
Exactly.
Let's see all the colors of the dark. Let's see how much it costs now. Just to see.
I couldn't do it at the time, and I knew it was a mistake. But yeah.
Oh, it gave me the. It's not the right book. All the colors of the dark. Mario Bava. There's another book. Oh, here it is by Tim Lucas. All the colors of the dark. Let's see if we can. Amazon by Tim Lucas. It's on Amazon. It's got 4.5 stars. How much does it cost on Amazon? Oh, out of print, limited availability. They don't even have a list for
I don't
getting
even want to know.
Yeah. Wow. It doesn't even. That's a tough one. I want to know though.
But I'll say I'm looking forward to Noir. I'm blanking. Your thing.
Oh, True Noir. Yeah.
Thank you.
I gotta tell you,
I have to order it on the GoFundMe. I want to
Kickstarter. Please, everybody, go to Kickstarter.
Yeah.
We're closing in. We're closing in on that. I have to tell you. I mean, I keep saying this because I'm making it, but it's really good. It really is really good. And I only have 2 more actors to record. Patton Oswalt has to record, and an actor named Richard Portnow, who is our narrator. And I'm really excited. I mean, he's more of our host. He's kind of our Rod Serling, and
cool.
It's been great. It's been great.
Yeah. I've actually been I've been going down the Orson Welles rabbit hole for the last few weeks, and watching all the interviews with them, which are great. But I've been also listening to a lot of the old Mercury Theater radio shows.
Yeah,
it's wild stuff, man. It was all live, and it was pretty damn cool.
Oh, it's very cool. Oh, do you know how much All the Colors of the Dark is selling for on eBay? A sealed one is $3,480.
There you go.
$2,000. There's one for $1,900.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
1,000. No, only $1,100. $1,200.
Great, wonderful. Yeah.
You're a new dad, right?
Yeah.
You can afford a $1,200 hardcover book.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'll tell. I was always a music collector. That was my thing to collect, and but I've slowed down. But I still go, and this call tonight just cost me $100 because I got this box set. I ordered it and was like, do I really, really need this?
Yes.
And I was like, I think I'm going to send it back. And then when I heard it, like, you know what? I'm going to open it here. It's the unboxing. You're gonna roll your eyes when you see what it is. Yeah.
No, I
This
would
is
never
the
do that.
Super deluxe Def Leppard Hysteria.
I
box
can't
set.
believe Dieter Bastian is not here watching this.
I mean,
No, okay, that's really dope. Where did that come from?
I ordered from Amazon. It was like 100. It's like 150 in America, about 100 here, and I just wanted it. So when I was 11,
okay.
this was the record. You know.
Yeah, I mean,
and
but look at that. Now, what's in that? That's huge.
it's got 5 discs, 5 CDs, different versions, live stuff, 2 DVDs, and a whole bunch of book stuff. And
I can't imagine Dieter Bastian has not bought that. He must be getting that. He's in Germany with you.
I know. But for my son, this is the kind of stuff that like later, because I know he's going to love this record when he's 8. And there'll be some context for it, because the kids today, they don't have CDs anymore. They got nothing. So that it's totally just, it doesn't, this is the full art package, all of it,
Yeah.
And
and that's the funny thing. That's part of the experience. It was getting the records and the liner notes and reading them and the pictures and gatefold sleeves and all that. I mean, I just I've been buying a lot of these remastered Dolby Atmos versions of of albums. Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars just came out. They shipped it to me. It's like you have to get all this stuff.
Yeah, sometimes
I mean, I don't have kids of my own, so that was a mistake. I have nothing to. The girls don't. Elizabeth's daughters don't. They're not going to care. But wow, look at that! What's in there? Let's show it to me.
All right, we got all the books. We got there's books and stuff.
Wow! Oh, dude.
And then
come on. Now I'm jealous.
Got this. You pull it out and all the
wow.
Yeah. All right, it's awesome.
That is awesome.
And then later, when he discovers this record, which I know he'll love at some point growing up, like, he can put a face to the sound and stuff. It's important, and I don't know. I dig it.
It is important. That's good parenting right there. I love that you're thinking about 8 years when he's 8.
Dude, this record's awesome.
On his 8th birthday, you should take it out. You should have a chest that you lock everything in and you don't tell him what it is. And on his 8th birthday, give him the key.
It's a good idea.
Here you go.
That's a good idea.
Or you have a mysterious chest and make it so every year on his birthday, you get to open up something new. You reach into the chest.
Yeah.
Here you go, son. Or maybe make it. When's his birthday?
January 12th.
Oh, so it's too close to Christmas. You fucked up. I mean, he's gonna hate you. He's gonna be like, "Geez, Dad, do I get double presents now or what?"
Well, we can lie to him and tell him he was born in May. How would he know?
There you go. Yeah, you can't do that though, because he'll get his driver's license and be like, "Hey, wait a minute, what's this May stuff?" I was lucky; I was born in May.
There you
parcel.
go.
But that would be kind of a fun thing. Like you could have the magic chest throughout his life, and you can already figure out like everything he's gonna get every year. Here you go.
Good idea. It's I have been buying that way, so I'm just like, yeah, he's gonna need this later. I'm doing it for him,
I had all these things I thought about if I had kids, what I would do, and that was always something that I wanted to do. Was like I would have a chest, and you'd put things in it over throughout the year when they. I mean, obviously, it wouldn't all already be in the chest, but you'd when the birthday came up, you'd put it in there and open it up or let them go in, give them the key once a year. But I didn't get to go any of that cool shit.
I'm looking forward to seeing how he reacts to stuff. But I know one thing: he's gonna dig this record.
He's gonna dig. Now, let me ask you this: have you thought about how you're gonna bring him into like? Okay, you've got the music covered. What about movies? Like, how are you gonna bring up? Because it's really important how you bring kids into the. I had some friends that he started his kids young, showing him like the Three Stooges and the Marx Brothers and stuff like that. Slowly introducing him to the classics.
He's still too young. He's only 8 months, so like, I have to see.
But now you can plan it.
I think Bugs Bunny is basically where you start with Bugs Bunny and the Looney Tunes, and you work your way up from there. But I think that is the standard because it's fun and dumb and also really smart. and creative. And yeah, they always ask me here in Germany, what are you the most proud of about America? My answer is always Bugs Bunny and baseball. You know,
what do the Germans think of that?
They're like, okay, but it's nothing, you know, for me, it's the truth. They understand the Bugs Bunny and baseball than I have to hear about. It is so boring. It makes no sense. But when a German tells you something's boring, then you got to, you know.
That's hilarious. Good to see
Good
you,
to
man.
see you, Adam. By the way, our tradition in our house, Adam, is for our kids, we have a 21 box. When they turn 21, they get a box that has collected things that we have collected through the years, either artwork they did when they were young,
Wow,
or
what a great
things
idea.
that they wrote, or, you know, like you said, maybe they loved a particular movie or music, so we throw it in there. And so at 21, they get their 21 box.
That's
So.
the most embarrassing box in the world.
But it's still, what a great idea.
Yeah, it's been really fun to do it with our kiddos. So it's kind of a cool thing to do. And then they you know, they look back and find all these, like, you know, drawings they did in kindergarten and stuff like that.
Wow.
Or a poem they wrote in 8th grade or whatever. So yeah.
What a great idea.
You know, my son Alejandro was disappointed that we saved some of, like, the tests he didn't pass. You know, like, this, hey, remember that time that you were flunking this class? We saved one of those tests, so it was kind of funny. Anyway, good to see you, Adam.
Good to see you, man.
All right, so then let's see. We had how are we doing on time?
By the way, there's a Mario Bava book for only $790, man. So
hey,
jump on that, Adam. $790.
It keeps going down. By the way, Rob, I did find out Space 1889 originated as a role-playing game, but then in 2005 it was made into a series of 4 audio dramas. So it's a
nice.
The Red Devils, The Steps of Toth, The Siege of Alcyon, and The Lunar Inheritance. So Space 1889.
By the way, Adam, this book, it's in the UK. The shipping's only $54.13, according to the estimate. And the seller's got a 99.8%. You got to jump on this. $800. Don't tell your wife. You know, just go get it. Come on, go get it now. Do it now. You know how we feel about these things.
Let's go ahead and see. Darth Plato, are you around? Let me see. Darth Plato, can you join us now? We called on you earlier, but you were not available. We'll wait a second here.
There's all the colors of the dark Italian. Yeah, no, it's a French poster. It's 47 by 63 inches, and it's got a nude woman on it. All the colors of the dark. There you go, right there. Original movie poster.
Let's see if YS is around. Looks like Darth Plato might have stepped back.
$100.
Is YS around? YS, are you able to join us? You should be able to unmute now if you are here. Are you able to join us, YS? Nope. Okay, then we are going to skip to Major Chai Chai. Major Chai Chai, are you able to join us now? Yeah, there you are. We summoned you, Major Chai Chai.
How's it going?
It's good. Got a bone to pick with you.
Usually when girls say that, that's usually a good thing.
No. Yes, I was a major. What?
You're a real major in the Air Force.
I was a real major in the Air Force.
So now I'm intimidated. I think I knew that, but I wasn't sure. I had to ask, and
all that time we talked.
I know. I'm always drinking though. What can I say?
Okay. So,
but you watched Stalker. I was very impressed.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good letter, by the way, too.
Oh, thank you. I felt like I was rambling like the other night.
No, I thought that was good. That was good. You weren't rambling the other night. That was good too.
Okay.
By the way, we're doing a Midnight Metal tonight. Dave Parker and I. He after I got off last night, he sent me a really interesting. He did not like Beetlejuice. So he was like, "Oh, we should talk about legacy sequels." And I was like, "Okay, that's a great topic."
Yeah, I saw Beetlejuice Wednesday night.
What'd you think?
It was decent. It was
Yeah.
carried by the performances of Keaton, O'Hara, and Defoe. Too many plot lines
Yeah.
for me to care about anything happening to the characters, and Bern Gorman was wasted in his role.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. I just, I think the real question is when Beetlejuice came out, no one had seen anything like that. It was, Tim Burton had made Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and then Beetlejuice was his second movie. And that movie was so off the wall. It was so Tim Burton that it really added to the tapestry of cinema because no one had seen anything done quite like that. But once you live, and this is what I'll say tonight, once you live in a world where that already exists, do you really need to do another one? And I think that and that's a question about sequels in general, but a legacy sequel, almost 35 years later, is that something that we needed? I mean, it's a rhetorical question, I guess, but I mean, I'm glad people will get to see it, and I hope it makes money.
Yeah. Well, what I thought interesting when I was leaving the theater was that it kind of fills this gap for families. Like people have tweens. It's not like a little kids movie, and it's not so adult. And so I think it will do well because it kind of fits that gap.
Yeah.
That to me, I haven't seen in cinema for a while. I think that's why Twisters did as well as it did, is because it was kind of that gap movie.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I like that's a good point, a really good point.
So, and the best part of going to the movie, on the subject of Batman.
Oh, you got your popcorn bucket, the light up popcorn bucket.
Yeah, let me turn it
I
on.
mean, that is the thing about that popcorn bucket is that's really cool. Does it shine? Is it bright enough to shine on the wall?
Oh yeah, I got it. I posted pictures of it on Instagram
Oh, okay.
of me
That's
messing with it. And yeah, because it's showing up on my wall right now. So yeah.
Beetlejuice, by the way, it looks like it's going to make $100 million in September. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's incredible. So
and
it did 42 million on Friday. I mean, that's enormous. And that included the Thursday preview. So through Friday, 40, that's a huge opening. So it's good. I mean, like you said, maybe that's true. You nailed it. Families can go see it. That middle ground. That's a good idea.
Because that was a hard part for me with trying to move my kids from the kid movies to more grown-up movies, and there isn't that, not anymore anyway, those type of what I call grown-up films, not adult films, but grown-up films that aren't too mature for them. And one example I love, and I showed my kids, was The Freshman. Right.
With Matthew Broderick and Marlon Brando.
Because it was there wasn't a lot of violence. It was, but it was still grown-up themes, and so it wasn't a kiddie movie, but
Yeah, sure.
And I think that's kind of what we're missing. It's all on Netflix. It's all streaming stuff, but it's not an event to take the family to.
No, you're 100% right about that. And again, we're missing those kinds of things. And look, it shows, if your theory holds, and it does, $100 million is nothing to sneeze at. Although I'm sure that movie cost a lot more than that even. I mean, these movies are way too expensive. Hollywood has forgotten how to make movies cheaper. It's incredible to me that a movie like Beetlejuice would cost over $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
It's just insane how much these things have cost. So
yeah. Oh, well, one of the other things I did like about Beetlejuice was and again, it goes back to the first one, was the styling, the music.
Yeah.
I mean, of the visuals, but that's all going back to Burton and the original. And I don't know if I should bring it up here because I don't want to spoil it for other people who haven't seen the movie yet. But there's one thing about the rule in the afterlife that bugged me and had me like, well, how does that work now?
Right. Yeah. Okay.
About a certain character.
I know what you mean.
So, but it looks like we're almost out of time.
We're all almost out of time.
Well, it's good to see you, Major.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And I think you all are going to like, by the way, I did last night before the show, in the intro for Robservations, I did play some of the opening narration for for True Noir.
True Noir.
I can't yet utter who that is.
You've been dropping some hints, though. You've been dropping some hints.
Yeah. Let me just say it's going extremely well. And I'm very excited. Very excited.
All right. Maybe third time's the charm here, Rob. Darth Plato, are you with us here? Let's see if Darth Plato is able to unmute at this time. Nope. Does not look like it. What about... yeah, he'll be back. Is YS able to join us now? We'll give it a few seconds here. If not, we are skipping to Stubble McShave. Stubble, are you able to join us? I think Stubble had also... Stubble is back. So let's go ahead and add him. Welcome, Stubble.
What's up, dude?
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I listened to that True Noir thing you posted, and I recognized the voice, but I can't place it really.
Can't say it out loud yet.
No, I can't place it. I recognize it, but I can't place it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it seems promising.
Yeah, you're wait till you hear the whole thing. I mean, I just threw that together really quickly. I mean, that is a long run. There's sound effects and stuff happening in the middle of that. I just didn't have those available to me at the time I put that together.
So, Jonathan Mayberry.
Can you fucking believe that shit? I mean, look, look, I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad. But I've been singing the praises of those books for 15 years. And as they go along, there's always a diminishing returns. I think the last one he did was great. I love the last one he did. But I love that series. I've been thinking about that series for a decade and a half. And then, look, I'm glad that it's placed where it is. I really am. But it's like, God damn it, another one of my dream properties gone.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't necessarily, you make these deals and you hope they happen. But that he's got his hands in so many pies. And I really hope that they find showrunners who know how to do the books, because everybody will take a job adapting a novel. It's like, okay, we'll go. But if you don't love those books and you don't love what they could do, and you don't have the background I think you need, because that's the thing that I think is whether they're doing is Wheel of Time getting a third season?
I've heard a fourth is not greenlit as of yet, but we'll see.
You know how it is when you have a favorite series of books and the people, they hire people, but there are never, the problem is there's never people that are in Hollywood that are showrunners that love literary properties as much as the biggest fans of those literary properties, because there just aren't. So you're never going to get people that are going to work on those kinds of books that are going to, I mean, Chad Stileski seems like he's a big fan, and like based on what Mayberry was saying in that article, that it was the right place to go. But is he going to make that his life's work now? He's developing John Wick shows, and that it needs somebody who totally gets it and who's thinking in the long term.
Yeah. But you can look at it as it could have been J.J. Abrams, or it could have been someone else. You have to look at it from that point of view.
I do. That's why I did that show. I'm totally excited about who got a hold of it.
Yeah.
You know, especially because I read 15 years ago, I read that CBS pilot, and I was like, "Ooh, no."
Yeah, but you know, you will have the clout in Hollywood when there's time for a remake of the whole thing.
Yeah, I'll be dead. I'll be too old. But right now, I'm already too old. Like nobody would hire me to. I mean, it would be great. It would be great to sit down and because I have such a distinct. I mean, I think the way, like the Reacher series, I've really enjoyed the first 2 seasons of Reacher. Now they're doing a Reacher spinoff with Neely. And I those 2 seasons are about as good as you could have hoped. I think they did a great job. I think Alan Ritchson was the perfect lead for that show. And you know, could the second season have been a little better? Maybe, but I still really enjoyed it.
Yeah. But now I have to pick up some of the other books of Mayberry to check them out. I just read the first one, but it was good. But it felt like it was, you know, early 2000s with the political situation.
Yeah, well, it was. It's, you know, it came out in what, 2009, so he was writing it before that. So the second book, I mean, like I said, if I was in charge of, the problem with doing zombies again is it would seem old hat, and you need to come out of the gate doing something different. And I think that the Dragon Factory, which is book 2, would be the way to come out. And I don't know how they would. It's weird because if they just call the show Ledger or Joe Ledger, it doesn't do it justice. But I don't know how they would. I don't know what they would do.
Maybe they could name it after the organization or something.
Yeah, something. It's tough, but the DMS. I mean, I mean, the Dragon Factory is a great book, and it's got 2 great villains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, you talked about the true noir in you know, when you're driving the car, listening to it. I thought if it's too immersive, maybe it will cause a lot of car crashes and stuff.
Well, yeah, it's okay. This is really interesting. So one of the things that I was talking with about my audio engineer is I've been listening to a lot of these like immersive audio dramas where they pan people's voices to the left and the right. Yeah. And like, I hate it. I'm like, I hate that because it sounds unnatural. Because when you're listening to a story, the way we have it, like when you're watching a movie, dialogue is always coming out of the center channel in mono. So that's what you do. But by panning stuff around, there's an artificiality to it. And so I was weird. I mean, these are decisions you have to make. Like you're going to make it fully immersive. Like I don't even know what I was listening to. Just something that was mixed in Dolby Atmos. And I'm like, it still doesn't sound like a movie. It's not what we're doing. So it's really interesting, but I don't think it'll definitely keep you focused in front.
Yeah. And a little shift here. You know, I'm not a big Springsteen guy, Bruce Springsteen. I listen to some of his stuff, but I'm not a big Springsteen guy.
Yeah.
But I heard the song "Red-Headed Woman" the other day, and I thought about you.
I appreciate that
because he wrote about his wife. Who's a redhead.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah,
that was like his second wife, though. I think he fell in love with her because she was part of his band.
And the theme is Cunnilingus. So I thought
all my favorite things.
Yeah, all your favorite things. So, yeah, I just thought that would be your theme song or something.
You know what? I've never heard that before, but I think that I will make that my theme song. But now I'm getting to the point where the redheads are going. The redhead, as we get older, it all goes away anyway and becomes gray. All of us, you know, go into the gray area.
Yeah, but it's the idea of it, perhaps.
Yeah, it totally is. Yeah. And I was lucky, you know, in my past. 3 loves, redheads. Woo.
Yeah.
Gotta love that.
I think my time is more or less up now.
It is up, but you know, Stubble, I'm always careful when it comes to cutting you off because I don't want to. I end up feeling like you're cutting my head off when I cut you off.
Like, come on, we got to talk about redheads and cunnilingus.
That's right.
Other than Star Trek, what is there in life?
You know, it is time to cut this one off when we get to those topics. So
he said that if you can say it, you can do it.
That's right. You know, and that's a word people don't actually say enough out loud. Nobody says the word cunnilingus.
No.
You just don't hear it spoken. It doesn't, you know, you never hear that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
All right.
bye for now.
Expanding your
Always a
vocabulary
pleasure,
today, the word of the day. Now we have it.
Some people are like, what is that? What does that word mean? Well, if you can't say it, you can't do it.
I'm wondering, I know we've had to say goodbye to Stubble now, but and speaking of Wheel of Time, the Rings of Power series has started its second season. Rob, have you had a chance to look at any of that? Or
oh yeah, no, I'm caught up.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. There was on my feed this ongoing argument about how Rings of Power is just as good of an adaptation as Lord of the Rings is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think that's true. It's just it's compromised because on one hand they wanted to like they absolutely wanted to be a part of that universe. They're like, this is with Peter, but it isn't. You can't, like, when they put the rings on, you can't see the same shot of the elven rings that they use in the beginning of the montage of Fellowship of the Ring, because you're like going, you're name checking a movie it's not yours.
Yeah.
And when you do that, it's like you've got to. I don't understand why people do that. The same thing. It drove me crazy with Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, okay, first of all, that movie is not yours to visually name check or to like when you're doing it, and you're not doing it very well. Look, it's just, and I feel look, when Mordor is created by a Rube Goldbergian device that somebody sticks a key in and the water flows down and starts a volcanic, I'm like, come on.
Yeah. And when they do things like that, Rob, when they show that shot of the hands, I mean, is this production in any way linked to the LOTR movies? Like, is there?
No,
there isn't.
They
right?
want it to be because the production design, the elven
everything
definitely
looks very much of the same kind of style.
And you know what's really funny to me? This is a if I can editorialize, it's a great failing. This is like 1,000 years. I mean, this show is leading up to the War of the Ring that we see in the beginning of that montage in Fellowship. You can go, if you know you're going there, why does the world look exactly the same?
Yeah.
It's 1,000 years earlier, and all this is exactly the same. And it's like, you know, you have to have the Harfoots.
Yeah.
Why? Because there has to be hobbits in the show. I mean, it'd be like, you know, if you made a TV series like with Westeros and House of the Dragon, we're close enough that it's okay.
Sure.
You're talking a few hundred years, so it makes sense. I mean, Notre Dame looks like Notre Dame and has looked like Notre Dame for hundreds and hundreds of years, so that's fine.
Sure.
But with Rings of Power, like, everybody's wearing the same style of clothes.
Yeah.
Like, there was no fashion changes. That, you know, you didn't have like elven dressmakers who were like, you know, I'm kind of bored of this. Let's couture this. Let's couture this shit up and make it. Let's play it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating to watch. The whole show should have a very different look, like the color time and everything looks exactly the same.
So I mean, the same thing happens with Star Wars too, when they set the Knights of the Old Republic stories back in the past, but all the technology and stuff is pretty much the same, you know.
Yeah, and I would think that they would want to change something up. Everything, and it's a bummer because it's like, wouldn't technology? I mean, maybe it wouldn't. Like, once you're a spacefaring technology,
you get to a certain point that it kind of stops. I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's one of the where it's been a real failing, because I can understand in a fantasy world like Game of Thrones, like this idea that you're kind of stuck in medieval times forever. One thing, but where it has failed terribly for me has been in Star Trek, because of, you know, you get the chance to move 1,000 years in the future and things are still pretty much the same.
Especially humanity.
Yeah, humanity
itself, and well, that's because the people they betray their lack of creativity by not pushing forward. I mean, everybody still looks the same, talks the same.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like you've gone 1,000 years in the future in name only.
Right.
And I hate That, I mean, again, don't get me started on mine.
Yeah,
I mean,
I shouldn't have dropped that bomb right now, but we actually have to say goodbye to our friends on YouTube at this time. So wanted
all
to
right,
just
YouTube friends,
make sure that that the chat continues. Though, if you are in the chat, we will go
join
ahead
us for Midnight Metal tonight. Dave Park and I are going to talk Legacy sequels
and physical media tomorrow.
Let's get physical media.
Let's get physical media tomorrow. Okay,
Dieter
perfect.
and I are back. Yeah.
Sounds good. And don't forget to support the Kickstarter.
Yeah, go to the Kickstarter. Go to truenoir.co, or just go to Kickstarter and look up True Noir. Help us. We got 5 days left.
Yeah.
We got to make $6,000 a day. $6,000 total. Help us. You're going to love it.
Sounds good. All right. Well, let's go ahead and we'll say goodbye to our friends on YouTube, and we will continue the chat for our members on Zoom. So until next time, Rob.
Be seeing you, as they say at the village. Or actually, it's what is it? I have to do that. Be seeing you.